Game On by Opening My Eyes, Chapter 8. Oh! Will glanced up from his textbook to see Piper waving at him enthusiastically as she came into the chemistry lab. It's your turn to pick a movie. Will's eyes widened in shock as he sat up straight on his stool. Whoa, wait, really? I get a pick? Piper nodded, giggling a little at his enthusiasm. Yep, she said, popping the pea. It's been a little over a month now, right? Will nodded dumbly. Had it really been that long? Well then, as per movie night rules, you're entitled to pick the movie for the Saturday. It's Percy and Nico's turn to host, so that's where we'll be this week. Will had already known that much. Percy had been so excited for them to try a new recipe for a chocolate cake he had found in one of his mom's older cookbooks. He hadn't stopped talking about it all week. So, Piper asked, getting herself situated and pulling books and pens out of her bag. Do you have any ideas? Will's eyes widened, and he took a deep breath. Oh, I don't know yet. It's a lot of pressure. Pepper just laughed. Don't be silly. We'll watch anything. Surely you know that by now. Will nodded. That was true. They did have a fairly wide range in taste. Still, it was Will's first time getting to choose, and he wanted it to be good. I'll have to think about it, he said to Piper finally, before turning around as Miss Martinez walked into the room. Will lay on Lou's bed, throwing a ball up in the air and catching it as he thought. He, Cecile, and Lou had formed a war council of sorts, and their battle tactics, picking a good movie for Saturday night. Life of Brian? Cecile suggested, flicking through Netflix. No, we watched that already. Paper Towns? Ugh, I hate that movie. Yeah, me too, Lou agreed, but it's weirdly popular. How about a classic? Cecile suggested helpfully. I'm kind of tired of classics right now, Will sighed, useless. Sorry guys, you're being so helpful. I just don't think I'm in the right state of mind to pick a movie right now. You're telling me, Lou muttered, before laughing at the look Will gave her. Relax, I'm just messing with you. I'm not one to judge. Remember you helping me pick my outfit for my first date with Cecile? Will shrugged. Will shuddered, vividly. Cecile got a look on his face, the kind of look that usually made Will get out of there as fast as possible, before he saw some things he did not want to see. Oh, babe, you were nervous? As if you weren't, Will snorted, before Lou could respond. I swear, between the two of you, I barely got any sleep, because I was having to text you both reassurances every night for like a month. Lou and Cecile shared another sappy look, and Will decided it'd be best for their friendship if you got out of there as fast as possible. Hi, Mom, he shouted, upon entering the house, waiting for a reply to know if she was home. Mom, you here? He called one more after all he heard back was silence. When there was again no response, Will shrugged and tossed his keys onto the hall table. Guess not, he said to himself, wandering to the kitchen and boiling the kettle when the front door opened. Will, you home? His mom cried, and Will smiled. He hadn't really felt like being alone. In the kitchen, he replied, and pulled out a second mug to make her a cup of tea too. Hi, honey, his mom said, breezing into the room and kissing him on the cheek. How was your day? All right, Will said. It was fine, but I'm in charge of picking the movie for Saturday night, and I know it's dumb, and I'm probably making way too big of a deal of this, but it's my first time picking the movie, you know? I just want it to be good. He handed his mom her mug, and he smiled gratefully. That's not dumb, she said, after taking a sip. I'd be nervous too. We can go through our DVD archive tonight if you want. Will nodded and sighed. Yeah, thanks, Mum. That would be perfect. Naomi grinned and ruffled his hair. Let me just change out of this suit and we'll get started. She headed upstairs and Will took his first sip from his own mug. Sometimes the only one who could help you out was your mom, and Will was so glad he had a great one. Friday came faster than ever, and Will was still debating movies in his head. He had a few ideas, but none of them felt right. He only had a day left, however, so he knew he was probably just going to have to pick from the slim contenders he already had. He stood with Lou and Cecile outside, making his way over to the usual bench when a pair of arms wrapped around Will from behind him, and he leaned back into them without even thinking. Hey, babe, he said casually, ignoring the smug looks Cecile and Lou were giving each other. Did they think he couldn't see them? Nico didn't respond. He just buried his face in the crook of Will's neck, and Will unconsciously reached up to curl his fingers in Nico's dark curl locks. Pretending not to see Lou mouthing the words "so cute" at him before they moved away and sat down. "Bad day?" he asked quietly, and Nico just sighed, his warm breath on Will's skin sending shivers down his spine. "Fine," he groaned, finally lifting his head. "Better now," he added, cracking his lips. "We had a pop quiz in maths, and I didn't understand any of it." Will sighed sympathetically. "I can come over early before the movie tomorrow and go over it with you if you want," he offered, and Nico spun him around to look him in the eyes. "Really?" Nico asked, his dark eyes beginning to look a little more hopeful, and Will giggled. "Yes, really. What are smart boyfriends for, if not to use them as your own personal tutor?" Nico chuckled. "I suppose you're right." Will raised an eyebrow. "Oh, so now you're just using me to get better grades, is that it?" Nico spluttered, looking at him in horror. "No, I was just saying what you—" "Oh." He shook his head and laughed at himself when he saw Will's face. "You were just messing with me." "Yep," Will confirmed. "It was fun too." Nico shoved him lightly and ran away, sliding onto the bench next to Lou before Will could retaliate. "Cheetah!" Will called after him. Nico, being the mature person he was, just stuck out his tongue at him. "Will, how lovely to see you again." Will beamed. Percy's mom had a way of making everyone feel at home. "Hi, Sally. Can I get you anything? Something to eat, maybe?" Before Will could reply, Percy shouted from the kitchen. "No, he's good. You're saving yourself for my chocolate cake, right, Will?" Will chuckled, but took a deep breath of the intoxicating smell wafting from the kitchen. "Yeah, I'm good, but thanks anyways." "You'd better get up there before Nico tears his hair out," she said, half whispering. "Maths was never a strong suit." Will just smiled and followed her instructions upstairs to Nico's room. "Nico?" he asked timidly, opening the door a little and poking his head inside. The first thing he noticed were the books. There were hundreds of them. Nico's walls were covered in bookshelves, all filled to the brim with novels of all shapes and sizes. Nico himself was tucked up on a cozy-looking window seat, a maths book balancing on his crossed legs. "Whoa, that's a lot of books." "Whoa," Nico said in relief, smiling when he noticed the blond boy. "We'll like that." "Have you read all of these books?" Nico blinked and looked around. Not quite all. Paul gave me a lot of new ones, but yeah, most of them." "I thought I had a lot of books, but damn." He let out a low whistle. "This is impressive." "Huh," Nico said, and Will looked over at him in confusion. "What?" "If I'd known bringing you up to my room would win me the bet, I would have done it a long time ago." Will rolled his eyes but laughed. "I come bearing chocolates," he said, imitating Nico the last time he had come to Will's house. "Oh, you absolute lifesaver," Nico breathed. "Percy won't let me have any. He says I'll spoil my appetite for cake. Doesn't he know the cake comes after food, not as the main course?" "He does seem pretty serious about this cake." "It is actually really good," Nico admitted. "I got to try his trial runs." "I'm so jealous," Will said, sitting down next to the taller boy. "No one in my house can bake." Nico looked at him in faux surprise. "Oh, would you look at that? Mr. Perfect has a flaw." Will rolled his eyes. "Hush you, or I won't help you with this," he said, gesturing to the equations. Nico groaned. "I'm sorry, I take it back. Help me, please." Will just chuckled, picking up a pencil and set to work. They worked solidly for over an hour, and Will was really impressed with Nico's dedication. Maths obviously didn't come naturally to him, but he really put in every effort. Will had always thought Nico didn't give a fuck about his grades. It just went to show him that people run a lot deeper than they appear on the surface. "They're here," Percy hollered, and Nico and Will stood up. Nico stretched as Will looked at him in confusion. "Thena?" Nico rolled his eyes. "Thalia and Reyna." "That's what Percy and Jason have started calling them. It's really dumb. Do not encourage them," he warned, and Will just laughed, tearing his eyes away from the strip of midriff that had been on display when Nico had raised his arms, and instead followed the other boy down the stairs, waving at Thalia and Reyna, who were still in the hall. Nico led them all into the living room, and they claimed the best seats on the couches. First come, first serve. Thalia grinned as she positioned herself right in front of the TV. The others filed in quickly, all eager to try the cake Percy hadn't stopped talking about for over a week. Percy brought it out with bravado, to the delight of the group, who oohed enough to warrant massive slices. Will actually groaned when he tried his first bite, and he wasn't the only one. Holy fuck, where have you been all my life? Leo breathed, the human embodiment of the heart-eyed emoji, as he gazed at his slice of cake. Hazel nodded her head enthusiastically in agreement, and they all concurred that the build-up had been totally worth it. They also decreed that Percy would have to make it every time it was his turn to host. Okay, are we ready to get the movie started? Nico asked everyone as he passed the remote dramatically to Will. Nico had helped Will sit up only 10 minutes prior, rolling his eyes and muttering something along the lines of, I knew Sunshine was the right nickname for you when he heard the movie title, but Will saw his eyes gleam and he knew he had made the right choice. Yes, the group cried. Okay, the movie on the agenda for tonight is... Will let his words hang in the air for a moment or two for dramatic effect. Tangled! Will pressed play to a chorus of whoops and the sounds of Percy, Jason, and Leah already warming up their vocals, their voices, because they would be undoubtedly singing along. Hazel leaned around from the other side of Nico and smiled at Will, her cheeks dimpling and her eyes shining. I knew you had good taste. Okay, so that is the end of the chapter. Oh, this is actually quite short. Yeah, that was really, really fun. I love the silly little guys. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.